Like, I had a crepe. Is that how you say it, right? Crepe?
I don't want to correct you because it's like fabulous.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
And here we are once again in the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge, right around the corner from the Nutella Pancake Bar. We've got so much branding going on. It's kind of fabulous. The money keeps rolling in. Anyway, it must be a wonderful world for you if you're raised in a food family. Alex Guarnaschelli is here. Her mom used to edit some of the best cookbooks in the world. Therefore, Alex got a taste of culture and food from around the world through her mom, and then moved to France, worked with Guy Savoy, and learned about honing her craft there, but had to come home. Her home cooking in the United States brought her in like a big magnet. And we're so happy to have you here, Alex Guarnaschelli. Finally, you're on the show. We love you. Thank you.
Alex.
Yes.
Thank
Finally.
you.
Finally, and we're all envious about your upbringing, having a mom in the business, and then now your daughter is interested as well, right?
Oh yeah. I tried to, I don't push the food or the cooking or anything. She's like, "What are you doing? What are you making? What are you?" And then all of a sudden I turn around and she's making a salsa verde or she's doing whatever, and it's really wild. Here's what's even more wild. I grew up on this block. This is where I grew up.
Welcome
my
55th
entire
Street?
childhood. Yep.
What?
I grew up in the Wyoming across from the Carnegie Deli. So this has been, when you say I came here like a magnet, I mean, this is like the definition of coming home. This is, Elvis, you're on my block. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, I'll accept that. We're very nomadic in radio. They'll move us away in a few days anyway. So. And plus, with all the new driving and pricing in the city, we have to move above 60th Street.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So we're all
we'll
going to
be off
be
your block soon.
crawling through Manhattan, trying to avoid the. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
I know. We'll get it. So many people are texting in. They're such big fans of yours. They've loved you for all these years, watching you. And of course, we loved you when you were at Butter. I mean,
Still am.
what's a
22
better?
years.
So you're still chefing at Butter. I see you all the time on TV. How do you have time to go to Butter?
Well, if you only have one restaurant and you can take a taxi to it from where you live, chances are you're going to keep tabs.
All right. Hey, so I love what you're doing with Nutella. Of course, I live out in the country, and we have, within 2 miles of our home, we have 3 community firehouses, right?
Yeah.
And when the pancake breakfast pop up, we're there. But there's nothing better.
It's super,
right?
I think it's special. I think it's really American. I mean, I'm driving around Long Island and I see these pancake breakfasts. It's just a great fundraising opportunity. You can go to Nutella Stacks for Giving Back and check out the program. It's fantastic. But you can nominate your local firehouse and get a fantastic pancake kit, which will help with the pancake breakfasts. And, I don't think we think of firehouses as places where there are chefs, where there are people cooking. But if you make, a great meal at the firehouse, all the firefighters are like, "Good job." Yeah.
Yeah, they love it.
But imagine if you don't. You know what I mean? You gotta come correct.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, here's the thing. A lot of the times they cook for each other in the firehouses, right?
Oh, yeah.
But usually their food is very brown. Lots of brown selections. It's like the Chuck Wagon Brown.
Yes.
But I know of one of the firehouses near our house. They get into competition.
God.
These guys, they try to outdo each other. And never forget that firehouse. Not only are they there to protect you and your property, but to raise money for them through these pancake breakfasts is a very important part of your community. Get out there and be a part of it, right?
Yeah, and what are we asking you to do here? Basically, come out and eat. That doesn't sound like it's terribly challenging. And I think you're right. There's a ton of competition and pride in these firehouses with all the cooking, not just the pancake breakfasts. And so when Nutella approached me for this partnership, I said, wow, this feels kind of really seamless, because I have also a history on Chopped, the show, of being on all the firefighter episodes, because when they come out, I'm just like, oh my God, you're so cute, you're so handsome, and you save lives, and your life is so worthwhile. So the producers get a kick out of the fact that I'm always blushing when they walk out. So I'm like the go-to. You know what I mean?
Well, I love the fact that you whipped up some Nutella pancakes at the souffle style. Is that what I saw? I mean, they're like the Japanese souffle style, the tall ones.
So there's extra fluffy egg whites just whipped and folded in, which lightens them, extra protein. But it's also just really good with the Nutella. Like you just the flavor combo, because the pancakes are not terribly sweet, so it's just that perfect balance.
You know, the first time Nate traveled to Paris, he was so impressed with that Parisian invention, Nutella. I mean, if you walk down into the Jewish district, they have all the Nutella crepe stands and things like that. That's the first time I had Nutella as well.
Yeah,
but
it's so shocking. Like, I had a crepe. Is that how you say it, right? Crepe?
I don't want to correct you because it's like fabulous.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of French of you. What you're doing this morning. Good morning.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's really hard to crepe. And it had Nutella on it. And I was like, this is delicious. Where did this come from? And apparently they sold it in the States, too, at that time. I was just unaware of it.
Yeah, I love when the crepe, it's cooking and you can smell
Crepe.
it on the street. The crepe. And you can, and then you just get that thin layer, right? And you fold it in four
and it
you
melts.
clutch
yeah.
it like it's your
Yes.
firstborn child, like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you eat it. Put some strawberry and banana in it. And,
Hey, don't
man.
forget to cram your
know what?
banana in there.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
Don't get Nutella on us. No, yeah, I hear you on the banana and the strawberry. But I mean, honestly, you're gonna choose that over Nutella?
No, I'm gonna put it.
on,
What do you
gal.
mean? That is in addition to the Nutella.
No, in
I
addition
see.
to Nutella.
Because I'm like, have the fruit cup at the airport and then go have the crepe with the Nutella. That's my feeling.
So, is it true, Alex? Are you have a show that's reappearing at the Food Network? Is this what I read?
I have.
It's called Wild Card Kitchen. What is this?
Oh no, that's my so my co-host from Alex versus America, my show, Eric Ajapong, has a new show called Wild Card Kitchen. And no, I put that up on my Instagram because he's my co-host and that's his own show, and I'm
That's so
I'm
nice.
like
How supportive.
excited for him because he's fab. My show Chow House, I have a couple different shows, but Chow House where we go to Italy. And just have a cook-off in a villa and watch people, tear up over overcooked shrimp. Like, it's fantastic. So that's coming back in the
Boy,
spring.
your job is so hard. You got to go to Italy.
Oh God, guys!
I'm so
it's
sorry.
I'm so very exhausted. Guys.
Someone called the ambulance.
Yeah, it's here.
How nice, though. You know, going from being a classically trained chef and working with Guy Savoy in Paris and around the world and here and there, and now, switching over to more visual, the optics of being on camera and sharing your knowledge and your love for food with people. What an interesting turn. As a young woman wanting to be in the food industry, never ever would think you would be doing what you're doing today. What do you think about that?
It's such a great question because people starting in food now, I feel like they're thinking, I'm going to do media, I'm going to do food styling. And I just was like, look, I feel kind of grumpy and dangerous. So I'm going to go in a basement and start cooking onions with a bunch of pirates and see how that goes. There was
Right.
no...
That sounds way more fun.
Yeah, it was. But so I worked at an American place, which was Larry Forgione's on 32nd and Park. I went down there every day and I burned everything that was pot. They were just like, please don't come tomorrow. Please don't. We don't want you back here. Right? But you're right. I never imagined. And that's kind of the fun of it, right? I mean, did you think all of you would be here for this long doing this?
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, you're talking about
It's all
every day is different. It's just like a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's definitely borrowed time. And let's talk about, of course, on the heels of International Women's Day, which we celebrated Friday. Being a woman in this industry is something different now than it was when you started out as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, talk about that.
I mean, I worked in a restaurant in Paris for 6 years. I was supposed to go for 3 days and do like a little, stint and then come home and start eating bagels and pastrami again, like a good New Yorker. And I ended up working in the restaurant for 6 years. But there were 26 men and me. And you can take that any way you want, right? But I was like, okay, I'm either going to be the enemy or a mascot. Like, those are my choices. And considering my French was terrible and I really didn't know how to do anything, they were like, oh, here she is with her crepes. So, it was like an uphill battle, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, well, that gets stacked against me. Let's start cooking eggs.
Wow. But look where we are now. I mean, this is so great. By the way, I want to get back into the Nutella. What's the official name of this?
Stacks
for Giving Back. Yes, but we've had some texts from people who are working in firehouses, and they're saying thank you. So the response is here. This is actually hitting some nerves. If you don't work in the firehouse, you live near one that's going to save your life and your house. So this is a very important thing. I want to get into all that information on how they can enter the contest in a second. Let's talk about this weekend in the Bahamas. Atlantis. It's Nippy Whiff.
Yeah, Nippy Whiff. It's so catchy.
So I know that three of our team members, Gandhi and Nate and Scary, will be with you at Atlantis this weekend.
Yeah, they set up the spray tans. They're set. They're like, we're going to rock it out. They're going to act like they've been there all week, like live from the spray tan.
I'll tell you what, every single event that our friend Lee Schrager touches turns into just a party. I mean, he's a nut. I don't know how he does it all, but he does. So what are you doing at Nippy Whiff this weekend? Do you have a lot of events you're hosting?
I do. I'm doing an evening event, but I'm also doing a cooking class with my daughter to promote. We put out a mother-daughter cookbook this year, and it's not the mom and daughter at a glass table with tulips and a perfect cup of herbal tea at all. It's kind of like the tangled web that is the food that she and I make together and adjacently. Like parallel play when they're like the kids don't get along, but they play next to each other. Parallel play. So Ava and I kind of cook like that. She's like, why are you putting poblano in that, Mom? And I'm like, settle down, kid. You're 16. So we're going to do a cooking class together that's kind of based on our cookbook and a bunch of the recipes that are in there. So I'm actually especially excited to have her with me. She doesn't make a lot of appearances. She's like, no photos at this time.
Oh,
she's kind of chill.
Oh, yeah. There she goes. But I just love the relationship you have with your daughter, because I totally stalk you guys on the gram at all times. So, guys, what are you expecting to do? What are you guys doing at Nippy Whiff this
what
weekend?
are you guys going to be doing?
What are you doing to contribute?
Well, they said that
eating.
They gave us an eating pass. They said you're going to go to some events and you're going to go sample some wine and food.
I love it.
And against that gorgeous backdrop of Atlantis, and they redid a lot of it too. So I'm so excited,
Beautiful.
and I'm so excited to come by where you're going to be. And sample your food.
There's a lot of great chefs too, right? Especially Michael White, who I love. I love his cooking, so I'm excited about his stuff. I'm not going to be at my own booth. I'm going to be at his booth, just eating. Once in a while, I'll dip back. Maybe I'll take the cutout of Elvis and I'll just put it at my booth, and I'll be over at Michael White's.
My head has its own passport. It's ready to go. It's no problem at all. All right, so it's Stacks for Giving Back with Nutella. So talk about it. If someone's just turning us on, take us through the benchmarks of what we're doing here, because it's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really cool. And like I said, to me, it's such an organic partnership because Nutella just belongs here as just like part of your morning treat or whatever, any time of day. But you can go to Nutella Stacks for Giving Back, which is their website for this. You can also go on Nutella's social and go to the link in bio, and you can nominate your local firehouse to win a special breakfast kit to host your own pancake breakfast, right? It's a big assist. We've had a ton of entries and a ton of engagement. And also, it's just building familiarity for the very thing. I don't think people realize people are cooking in firehouses. People are doing these pancake breakfasts. This is a great way to raise money. And I'll tell you, firehouses, it's expensive to fight fires, right? I mean, the equipment associated with it, there's just no shortage of a need for fundraising and more money. And this is a great fun way to get everybody involved. And I think build familiarity, which is even more important, right?
Well, I love that. Absolutely. And our show not only is on in New York City, but we're going all across the country, across the heartland. So, this is good for so many of our listeners and so many of their family members who work in firehouses. So where do we go? What is the address? Oh, here it is. Nutella Stacks for Giving Back. And no, they didn't get fancy with the word stacks. It's actually spelled S-T-A-C-K-S.
Not with an X. It could have been XX or something. You're right. We didn't go there.
NutellaStacksForGivingBack.com.
I know. And so I know Deanna's going to put it up on our social at Elvis Duran Show on Instagram. And you can link over and you'll have photos of these incredible pancakes that you brought in with Nutella slathered all over them.
Yeah. Here it is right now. And we
Look
have,
at that.
The recipe, it's really easy to make.
And Alex was actually plating everything herself. I said, aren't you too famous for this? She said, I'm never too famous for cooking.
Oh, wow.
It's true. I mean, if you don't
Look
do
at
what
that.
you do anymore, where are we, right?
True.
Can you imagine an actor being like, I'm actually not going to be in the movie?
Put my double in.
Right? Like, guys, I'm just too busy. Send someone else. So, yeah, it's interesting what you say, because sometimes being a chef, you're like, you have to fight to have room to cook.
Yeah.
You know, or you go into the restaurant and, you know, the grease trap breaks, this, that. You're like, I was dicing rutabaga. What happened to my day? But you know how that is, right? You make a list, a to-do list, and then you finish your day and you're like, well, I'll just add 5 more things because I did nothing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, another day when things just go to hell. We're used to it. But
Every morning when we come in and nothing works around here.
right. That's why we cry in the shower every morning before we come to work.
I am glad I brought pancakes.
Yeah, I know. We needed those. We need a memoir from you. Have you thought about sitting down and writing about your travels and your thoughts
I need
that you
some
see
advice.
in the world?
I need some advice, Elvis.
You know, when I wrote my book, I'll tell you, I learned a lot about me when I wrote that book,
And
I
how
think
was
that's it was amazing. It was incredible. But you have such a rich history of places you've been, people you've met, things you've experienced. I think it'd be a crime not to share it with the world.
I love you saying that. I just wonder, honestly, is it okay if all of it isn't so pretty?
That's the best one.
That's better, yeah.
We don't want it to be
real.
pretty.
Yeah, well,
I mean-
I've no shortage of that, if you know what I mean. Like a little, some parts, some chapters will be like, oh boy, you know what I mean? Someone get her a stack of pancakes. You know, so
Right.
I like the advice. I appreciate it. And the team of therapists that I'm consulting with said that I should do this. So I agree. There's a lot of rich therapists out there.
Sometimes that great reveal is the best for you. You know?
Yeah.
And all the things you're talking about, is your daughter familiar with all these stories?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Good point. No. And sometimes, by the way, she hears stuff about me and she's like, it's not true, right, Mom? And I'm like, no.
Of course not.
Just go to school. Do something.
Exactly.
Go make a salsa verde.
It was just a week in prison. Mommy was there and she was safe.
It was a brief stint. It's a blip. What did you learn about yourself? I want to know. No one asks you questions, right? Everybody comes on and says, well, I'm doing this and that. What did you learn?
It's your life examined. You know, if you could put your life on a film and then stand back in the theater and watch it, it's a whole different perspective, and it makes you really truly appreciate where you are and what you've accomplished, because you know you've accomplished a lot, but you probably aren't conscious about the majority of great things that you have done and continue to do. And so it's good for your ego, it's good for your heart and your soul, and get it done. And I'll be the first in line to get my book autographed.
Oh, I'm thinking if it were a movie, it would be like The Black Swan meets Jaws, you know, with a little souffle in there. So I'm going to see. I'll get back to you.
I'm so interested in this book.
Yeah, then we got to read this.
Happen.
So
Okay.
Alex Guarnaschelli everywhere, and of course at Nippy Whip this weekend. And again, if you go to NutellaStacksForGivingBack.com, get your Firehouse signed up, make them win that thing, and all the info at Elvis Duran Show on Instagram. Alex, thank you so much for finally coming to see us.
Oh my
Such
God,
an honor to
so
have you
fun.
here.
I'm coming back tomorrow, even if I'm not invited. Hi, guys.
That's no
I'm
problem.
here, I'm
We're-
here.
The street.
We're reading down the text messages. They're all just so excited to hear you, and you have a lot of people out there that just love you very much. But you know
I
that.
have a lot of cousins. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
There you
everybody
go.
dial in today, people. I need to go deep.
Teaming up with Nutella for Stacks for Giving Back, our friend Alex Guarnaschelli. Thank you, Alex.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.